Marty Supreme explained.
Timothée Chalamet plays Marty Mauser, the character at the center of everything in Marty Supreme and the reason you're watching. He grew up between Manhattan and France, and the Manhattan piece matters to Safdie specifically. This is a New York story about a New York character. His film career has moved through very different registers. Call Me By Your Name in 2017, then Dune, Bones and All, Wonka, and A Complete Unknown, where he spent years learning guitar and harmonica, remained in character throughout production, was called Bob Dylan on the call sheet. Each of those roles asked something specific and physical from him. The accumulation of that work, the range it represents, is what Safdie is drawing on. One of his scene partners is Geza Rohrig, who plays Bela Kletsky, the Auschwitz survivor and former champion, best known for playing a Jewish prisoner inside those same camps in Son of Saul.
Josh Safdie directed Marty Supreme solo, his first feature without his brother Benny, though Ronald Bronstein co-wrote the screenplay again, same as Good Time and Uncut Gems. The story is rooted in Marty Reisman, a real New York ping-pong hustler who wrote a memoir called The Money Player. Good Time had Robert Pattinson dismantling his screen image in a one-night crime story across Queens. Uncut Gems folded Kevin Garnett, an actual NBA player, into the world in a way that made everything feel lived in. That logic runs through every level of the cast here. Find the person who doesn't need to fake what the role requires.
Gwyneth Paltrow plays Kay Stone, a former Hollywood actress from the 1930s, married to a wealthy industrialist. Paltrow is the daughter of filmmaker Bruce Paltrow and actress Blythe Danner. She grew up in a household where the work was taken seriously. She built her career on period films and literary adaptations: Emma, Sliding Doors, Shakespeare in Love. Then came years as Pepper Potts in the MCU. In 2017, she stepped back publicly to focus on Goop. By 2023, she was saying acting roles were increasingly unlikely. Marty Supreme is her real return to the screen.
And Safdie didn't go after the MCU version of Gwyneth Paltrow. He went after the version who built a career playing women from another era. Period prestige, that specific, understated authority. Casting her as a former actress stepping back into the spotlight, after years of Paltrow actually stepping back from the spotlight, has a self-awareness that feels deliberately chosen. The role and the biography rhyme.
Kevin O'Leary plays Milton Rockwell, the wealthy industrialist, Paltrow's character's husband. O'Leary, known as Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank and Dragon's Den in Canada, had never made a feature film before this. His entry into the form is a character whose psychology he's been rehearsing on television for nearly 2 decades. That persona is performed financial authority, sitting across from people who need something, deploying capital as leverage and personality as theater. Safdie handed him a character built entirely around it. It's the cleanest fit in the cast.
It's not a stretch. It's a direct translation. O'Leary has been performing this specific energy on television since Shark Tank launched in 2009, and Dragon's Den in Canada even before that. The performance of capital as authority, deployed as theater. And Koto Kawaguchi, who plays deaf Japanese champion Koto Endo, is an actual deaf Japanese table tennis player, his first acting role. When Safdie needed world-class deaf ping-pong player from Japan, he found the actual person. It's the same principle as Garnett in Uncut Gems.
Odessa Azion plays Rachel Misler, Marty's childhood sweetheart, married to his childhood friend. Azion is the daughter of Pamela Adlon, who created and starred in Better Things on FX for 5 seasons and has been doing voice work since the 90s, including Bobby Hill in King of the Hill. Odessa's been building her own career. Grand Army on Netflix in 2020, Hellraiser in 2022, Until Dawn in 2025. This is a different scale than any of those. Her first time inside a project of this ambition.
What's interesting is that Pamela Adlon built her career on a very specific brand of emotional honesty. Women who are in over their heads and won't perform their way out of it. Odessa's doing something distinct here, something that's clearly her own register. But that instinct for finding the real moment over the theatrical one, for not reaching for technique when the scene calls for something rawer, that does seem to run in the family.
Tyler Okonma, credited under his legal name in the film, known professionally as Tyler, the creator, plays Wally, Marty's best friend and taxi driver. He founded Odd Future in Los Angeles in the late 2000s, which reshaped what alternative hip-hop could look and sound like. He created Loiter Squad for Adult Swim, a sketch comedy series that ran from 2012 to 2014, and The Jellies, an animated series he developed as creator and executive producer. He's been in front of cameras before. This is something different.
And Wally is a register Tyler's public persona would never lead you to. Tyler, the creator, is deliberately unpredictable, built on refusing to be anticipated. His music, his public appearances, his whole brand operates on constant reinvention. Wally is the steady one, the loyal one. Getting that kind of quiet patience from someone whose whole brand runs the other way, Safdie clearly understood what was underneath the persona.
Abel Ferrara, who plays the connected figure Ezra Mishkin, has been making his own films since the late 70s. Ms. 45, King of New York, Bad Lieutenant. 4 decades building the vocabulary of New York criminality and moral corruption on screen. Casting him as the central threat inside someone else's New York crime story works on the surface and knows its film history at the same time.
There's a through line across Ferrara's own films. Men who become the source of destruction for everyone around them. Playing that role rather than directing it, being in front of the camera for someone else's vision of that same city, puts him on the other side of 40 years of filmmaking. That's a specific kind of accountability.
Fran Drescher plays Rebecca Mauser, Marty's mother. She grew up in Flushing, Queens. That particular sensibility is the foundation of everything she does. She co-created The Nanny in 1993 with Peter Mark Jacobson, starred in and produced it for 6 seasons. The character she built there drew directly on the biography she'd been living. She became SAG-AFTRA president in 2021 and immediately found herself leading the union into the 2023 actors' strike, which ran for nearly 4 months. She's simultaneously a working actor and the head of the union every other actor in this film belongs to. There's no equivalent position in the industry right now.
The Queen's energy she carries into this role is exactly right for the 1952 New York Safdie's building. Emery Cohen, who plays Rachel's husband Ira Misler, came up through The Place Beyond the Pines and Brooklyn, also a 1950s period piece set in New York. David Mamet, the playwright behind Glengarry Glen Ross and American Buffalo, plays Glenn Nordman, the method director inside the film. 40 years writing authority figures who perform their position as theater, now he has to play one. And Larry Sloman, who embedded with Dylan on the 1975 Rolling Thunder Revue, plays the shoe shop uncle Murray Norkin.
And George Gervin, the Iceman, who averaged 26 points a game with the San Antonio Spurs and was named one of the 50 greatest players in NBA history, plays Lawrence, the bar owner. Safdie's New York always makes room for the basketball court. What you end up with is a cast where almost every person brings their actual weight into the room. The playwright, the NBA legend, the crime director, the union president, the journalist who documented Bob Dylan. None of them are pretending.
And somewhere in there, the man who rode the tour bus with Dylan and wrote the book about it is playing the shoe shop owner to the actor who just spent years becoming him. That's the thread running through the whole cast. You can pull it from almost anywhere.